Hey everybody, it's Moose here, and today I am back again with a brand new interview. Today I am here with Jai, or is it Jay?
Jay.
Jay, sorry about that. But yeah, I'm here with Jay. He's a stop motion animator, really talented guy, and he's happy here. I hope you're happy to be here, man. I really appreciate you being here.
Very happy to be here. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. So initially, when I found your channel a few months ago with when your debut with your Justice League stop motion, um, and I really was really into what you had for a story, and like your green screen, your effects, all that stuff was super top notch. So, get into before I get into talking about your videos, what got you into doing stop motion in the first place?
So my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, she had bought me like a little Lego set. I think it was like Superman battles Lex Luthor, and I used to like to do puzzles, and then I had a baseball injury that kind of stopped me from being able to look down that long in my neck.
Hmm.
So then I started doing Legos because it didn't take as long because of the instructions. And then one Lego set that I got had an advertisement for the Lego stop motion app, and
Right.
so I tried that out and I thought it was pretty cool. And, so I started doing, some Lego stop motion. Some of the early stuff's up on my channel. It's not great. But I just kind of started getting into that. And for me, I've always been a big superhero guy, big DC guy, and I wanted to make stories with those characters. And the Legos were just, some people do some fantastic stuff with Lego animation in terms of their action. But for me, the articulation was too limited for me. So then I really started looking at, how could I do it like with 1/12 scale 6-inch figures?
Hmm. So, so when it comes to working with from Lego to 1/12 scale, would you say there's a difference in terms of working with those kind of figures, or would you say Lego's easier? Would you say 1/12 scale is a bit easier to work with, or would you say one's a bit like I was think one would be a little harder than the other, you know? So.
It's just different. With Legos, the nice things are is that sets are really easy, scale is really easy. You can build whole and massive worlds, and you don't have to be too creative to do it. You can just go buy a set, or you can build your own. So people are very creative with it. With the pegs, it's kind of easier to remember where you had them and whatnot. But the other side of that is, giving more human-like movements is obviously easier on the 6-inch figures because the articulation gives you more similar, more ability to have human-like movements. Sometimes having them stand can be a little bit more difficult, or certain poses can be a little bit more difficult. But um, you know, I try to use kind of camera tricks, camera angles, and hide your rigs and that kind of thing. And like I said, for me, I just kind of like the look, and I really like the things that I can do in action a little bit more.
Right. That's what I kind of like about 1/12 is that you are able, depending on the figure, you can be able to get a nice range of motion and really can really be able to do a lot more with excuse me, do be able to do a lot more with it. Um, honestly, and one of the funny thing is that I noticed is that in a lot of your videos or now lately you've been using Mezco figures. So
Yeah.
yeah. Which funny thing, as the time of this recording, uh, today will be I think the second day of MezCon,
Let's go, Con. Yeah, this fall.
MezcoCon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So uh, I think I saw you post a selfie today regarding that being part of the MezCon. I did the same thing.
Right.
So so in regards of working with also working with figures, what would you say has to be your favorite figure lines to work with? I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but what would you say your favorite figure lines to work with in terms of doing stop motion with?
Mezcos are my favorite because you get a mix of good articulation and they look fantastic on camera. the cloth goods, hiding, so much of the joints. It just gives it a hyper realistic look, that's not really matched. Other than that, I haven't really worked with too much. I mean, Hasbro stuff, Marvel Legends stuff's okay. I like DC Universe Classic stuff. Some of my favorite figures to work with are DCU Classics. Um, some of the other articulation on some stuff, like some of the, DC Direct stuff, kind of feels stiff to me. The Mafex stuff I like, but my problem with Mafex is they don't necessarily scale that well, with other figures, and not necessarily in their height, but like sometimes their heads are a little bit smaller than I would think. You don't want to mix two lines where not just the height you have to worry about, but you don't want them to be the same height, but one head is ginormous and the other head is small. So there's
Right,
just
of
other
course.
considerations. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, that's something that I try to take into account when combining figure lines and all that stuff, or making sure like it all would make sense in whatever you're making your universe. Like everything has to look good in a certain way.
Right.
Right?
Right. It
So
can't
it's
take
like,
you out of the visuals.
right. So if you have like for example, like the Mezco Catwoman, like with the Mafex Hush Batman, that might work in scale. I'm not sure, but the proportions on both figures are vastly different.
Right.
And
Yeah.
yeah, so it's like I totally get that. So I would have to say that with my current project, which actually was I want to get into your Justice League video and your other videos too. Your Justice League video actually really got me back into really wanted me to get back into DC Universe Classics, because a lot of those figures I have and some
Awesome.
I used to have.
Great line.
So I actually went out like to eBay and rebought a lot of those figures, like the Brainiac
Yeah.
Team figure. Rebought that because I used to have that when I was younger. And then I think it was also the John Stewart Green Lantern.
Hmm.
That figure's cool. I really like him. Um, and then recently with your Mezco your Mezco figures, like with your Green Arrow and Arsenal video, maybe we want to go and find a Green Arrow, which I did.
Nice.
But yeah, I've been really getting into the Mezco stuff lately. So in terms of uh, we talked about figure lines. And also, I'm looking at your channel here, and you when making your Green Arrow and Arsenal video, I can tell uh, you're trying to like build up a universe, and I make
Mhm.
sure that everything's like to have a continuity, which is
Right.
something I really enjoy. So my question is essentially is can you tell us anything else that you're going to be building? And also with your Justice League video, you and your Flash video, you tied something. You're tying stuff in as well. So can you speak on anything in terms of what's going on with what you're trying to do for your universe at the moment, or you're just trying to keep it hush hush at the moment?
Yeah, no, I actually, your mind runs wild with ideas. So I've got, if you look at it kind of like a Marvel type of deal, because everybody's using that blueprint. If I look at my stuff in phases,
Mm-hmm.
I would say that, I've got one more video that would conclude what I call phase one.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a Superman and Green Lantern adventure,
Okay.
that I just started production on. So I'm excited about that. And that would close out what would be considered phase one. And I've got in my mind and partially on paper, I've got probably about 5 phases mapped out of a DC universe, with about 5 or 6 videos in each phase. So
Nice. So, um, what can you tell us about the? Can you tell us anything about the Superman Green Lantern at all, or is that just something we're gonna have to wait to see?
it is it's directly after Justice League. They have gone off to, spoiler alert if you haven't seen Justice League, they have gone off into the universe to try to set straight some of the damage that Brainiac has done. So
Oh,
Superman doesn't want his, the Kryptonian legacy to be destruction. He wants to try to get some of those cities who had their lives uprooted back to a little bit of normalcy, and they might run into a little bit of a problem on the way.
Mhm. Nice. Um, I also what I like about your concepts and stories is that they feel very much like in root of the comic origin. So
Hmm.
that's something I feel like uh, about like your stories is that it really makes me feel immersed and really feels like, oh yeah, this is like I'm reading a comic book, except like but yeah, that's what I really like about your stuff. Um, so was there anybody in particular or any certain type of group of people that got you like really what made you feel like, oh, this is what makes me want to do stop motion? Was there like somebody on YouTube? Was it anybody that you saw maybe like online somewhere, or was it just like something you're just like you were something you were always passionate about, but then you just acted upon?
It wasn't so much of a stop motion thing as it so much of it was I love the superhero stuff, and I've always been into comics and superhero stuff, and I've always, I mean, who doesn't, fanfic in their head, who's into that stuff, right?
Hmm.
And so it was more about telling the story, and even with before I started with stop motion with the Legos, what I was doing is I was writing little comics. I was making my own comics because I was doing my story and then basically illustrating the panels with pictures, photographs of the Legos, and that kind of worked a little bit. So it was more about the storytelling. And then when I saw stop motion as a way to storytell, I'm like, I mean, man, that's way better. I mean, that's way more entertaining. It's more fun to do. Um, and then obviously I got on YouTube and started looking at people, and I can't say that there's anybody who per se inspired my style. I mean, I saw Forest Fire, who does the Lego stop motion.
Yes.
He is incredible.
Hmm.
And after playing with it for about a year, I was like, I'm not gonna get to this dude's level because I can't even begin to figure out how he's doing some of this stuff. And then when I started to look at the 6-inch stuff, I just started, I looked at everybody, I mean, so the big ones like Swag Wave and Trick Shot, are out there, and, Red Mask, I saw him. I mean, just seeing their stuff and and what I liked about them more so than taking away any of their animation techniques, they're all great in their own right. It's just like their universe building, and their ability to put a story together and how that worked. And, and I have a buddy of mine who kind of consults with me on a lot of my films. He actually, he went to film school. It was always a passion of his, and he really got me, into hey, you got to look at your camera angles. You got to look at how this moves. You got to look at being able to cut action. You've got to look at, I mean, things that I never thought about because as someone who didn't have any background in that, I put the camera in one place and just shot the figure moving. And yeah, I had made sometimes my animation looked okay, but it was like 13 seconds of just the camera in one place from one angle looking at something, and that's just not enough throughout the course of a stop motion. So I mean, I've taken it from all over the place, I guess, is the short answer to my long response.
No, yeah, don't worry about it. I like hearing the long responses from people. I think it really when they give me a longer response, it shows up like their compassion or like their passion. I mean, for something. So I agree with that. When you think about Red Mask, Trick Shot, Forest Fire, those are all people I've interviewed before, and they're all really good guys. Really well. I'm trying to say they're super talented, but yeah,
They
they're
are.
really talented guys. And they all gave me like when asking them the question of like what kind of stuff do you do? What kind of stuff do you use? Would you like to say for fans in terms of what they would like to do? They always give me a variety. Like they always give me like a variety of answers, but usually they always just say it's just uh, just have like patience and have fun with it. And I think that's something that I really a lot of people sometimes can miss that. Especially if stop motion takes a long time to do, especially with the longer project. Um, so I think if you're not having fun with it, then it's gonna feel more like a chore, and it's not gonna feel like you're having fun with something that you created. Um, I've done some. and I like to say that over the from last year to now with my projects, I just continue to try to improve and look upon people's not people's how they do their animation, but also just like just learn on my own. That's what I think that's an important thing. It's just uh, and I tell people, and I tell some other people this is just, don't be afraid to ask somebody that maybe you look up to, because who knows, they could respond and give you some advice.
Yes.
They definitely could be like, because they're just another person who just has the same passion as you. That's who they are. They're just, um, we all have the same passion, which is just making animations of nerdy stuff that we like.
That's what it is.
Mhm. So, I guess going to my last few questions is so when going back into uh a few your first few videos was something I personally really like, and something that helped me personally is I really liked because I didn't really find a lot of these Nesco versus KO videos.
Hmm.
Have you thought about doing any more of those? Because I really thought those were really informative, and they helped me try to find the right ones in terms of when it came to looking searching for the older ones, like Joker, the Superman, the Green Arrow. It's just so it's like, have you thought about doing like something like that, or trying to do more review style like videos before? Like have you?
Yeah, I mean, with the reviews, I mean, I there's so many fantastic reviewers out there that I was kind of like, do I really want to jump into that pool? I don't feel like I'm going to be as that the review part's not a passion of mine. So I'm the kind of person, if I'm going to do something, I really want to do it well. So I'll probably stay away from reviews. The KO stuff, though, that's kind of a passion I have an interest in. And actually, I'm going to be having one probably come out hopefully within the next week. I got kind of busy, so things are slowing down now, and I want to get this guy here done. So
Oh yeah,
yep. So I'm gonna try to do a Mezco versus KO with this guy right here for my next one. So expect
yeah.
that out in about a week probably.
Yeah, and is that the KO there, or is that
That's
the?
the KO.
I
That's the
could tell
KO.
around with the paint on the skull. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Hmm.
So yeah, be looking for that in about a week or so.
Nice. All right. I guess going on, we got two more questions. The last second question, the first one, being so in terms of when it comes to using special effects, using like stuff like green screen and like like the little things that you do in terms of making your videos like pop and making sure that they look crisp, making sure everything looks like using effects like stuff for the flash, for its lightning, like looking like the brainiacs, so that there's multiples of the brainiacs flying in the air, or like yeah, so little things like that. Uh, how were you able to use those techniques like you probably learned prior and be able to use them for your videos? Like, did you learn stuff from like from schooling, or did you just learn on your own, or like it just basically, I guess, in short, uh how were you able to learn to be able to do all the special effects for your videos?
So I am self-taught in Photoshop and After Effects. Um, After Effects is one of those things that I actually tried to do early on. And it's not a simple program, but it's worth it. But the first time I went to it to try to do stuff for videos, I gave up on it. I was like, this is too hard. It's too, I'm trying to follow these tutorials, and really where I went wrong was the lack of patience. Anybody who's going to try to learn those programs, I went in and, I want to do a flash video. So let me go Google a tutorial on how to do, flash effects and After Effects.
Hmm.
Well, a 5-minute tutorial is going to take you an hour if you don't have a knowledge and a integral familiarity with After Effects.
Hmm.
So the second time around, what I did is I went and learned After Effects. I didn't go to learn how to do things in After Effects. I needed to go learn. I needed to know what masking was. I needed to know, how to color correct. I needed to know how to create paths. I needed to know how to, create lay. Like I needed to know that stuff before I could do anything. And so that was what I did the second time through. I went and did, and I didn't buy anything. I just went and literally did the tutorials off of Adobe's website because they give you a base understanding. So then when I need to do something like that I haven't done before, like, hey, I want to make this person disappear, or I want to create a portal, well, now I can go look at that tutorial, and when they tell me to go into my effects and presets, like I don't have to be like, okay, where is that? I just know where it is. I don't even watch the tutorial. I just listen to it, because as they're telling me what to do, I know the program so well, I know exactly where to go find it. If they tell me to change this setting, I know exactly where that is. I don't have to go watch the screen and be like, well, where is that setting? I just know the setting.
Mhm.
So I mean, at the end of the day, it's a program that makes things so much easier. And people ask me about my green screens a lot. And I think that what some people who try to use the green screens don't do is they don't affect, change the white and black balance. They don't add a matte choker. I mean, there's little things that are just little tips and tricks that, until you know the program, and that comes probably from using it outside of what you mainly want to use it for, you don't quite get the desired results.
Right. I that's something I've learned. I'm currently in college, and I'm learning like Photoshop and all that stuff.
Awesome.
I'm currently in college for like filmmaking and all that stuff. So
Awesome.
yeah, so uh, we learned a lot about like green screen and whatnot, and I'm still not perfect at it. I'm still learning like editing. I'm still learning you know um about film techniques, editing, using green screen, blue screen, um, you know, masking and all that stuff. All that stuff is still very new to me. I had a little bit of knowledge of it, like in high school, like vaguely, but it was like when I got to college, it was like this whole new experience. I'm like, how can we never learn this?
Right.
It's like how come I never knew that? I'm like, it's like, I try to integrate that into my videos. It's like, uh, but yeah, I do think that patience, regardless of whether that's animating or doing like editing or whatever, is a very big part of making something, because if you rush it, the whole thing can be messed up.
Yes.
Uh, so
And then you end up doing it over anyway.
right, yeah, exactly. So I guess going on, my last question essentially is, and here's a question I ask everybody, is what would you like to say to your fans, your followers? Just if you want to plug something, this is your spotlight, man, to go for.
I don't know how many fans or followers I have, but if you're someone who enjoys my stuff, I appreciate you looking at it. I appreciate you liking it. I appreciate you, spreading it out there and getting it out there. It's just passion projects for me. It's stories that I would like to see told, and in a way that I would like to see them told. And like I said, it's fun now, and hopefully it continues to be fun, and I'll keep doing it. And I do want to say, if you do like the Mezco versus KO stuff, and there's any comparison that you're, wondering about, let me know. I've got a pretty extensive collection. I only do reviews on ones that I have. I'm not going to necessarily go buy one that I don't have, then also go buy the KO. But I just about anything they have a KO of, I've got most of. So huge DC collection Mezco, huge Marvel collection of Mezco. I buy for the most part anything they come out with. So
Nice. Well, I'm excited to see more videos for you. And again, thank you for joining me. I really do appreciate getting to meet you, getting to talk with you. And thank you everybody for watching and listening. Please check out Jay's channel. His name is J3Productions. If you want to check him out, his channel will be in the description. If he has any other social medias, all that will be in the description as well. But thanks again, Jay, for joining me. Really do appreciate it.
all right, thanks. Appreciate you. Take care, everybody.